I've got to get my locking lug nuts off of my truck, except I lost the key, which is a big pain in the ass. So I have a nut extractor here, and the problem with that is it doesn't work because, as you can see here, this is actually a rotating collar and it doesn't take it out. So let's try some other techniques and see if I can get these out. I think the first thing I'm going to try is to cut that collar off with a die grinder. So we'll do that and see if that, and then after I cut that collar off, then I'll use the extractor and see if that works. As you can see here, I got my 1/2-inch impact driver with the extractor on the nut, and all it does is spin the collar around, so that's not going to work. And you can see here, the extractor dug into the collar, but it didn't hit the actual stay still part of the locking nuts, so that's a problem. Let's get the die grinder and see if we can cut that collar off. Safety squints engaged. Unfortunately, that rotating collar rotates fairly freely, and the die grinder is rotating around it instead of cutting it off. It would be better if I had a cutting wheel that went in this way, but I don't have one of those. I have succeeded at grinding a bunch of it off. Why don't I just try and see if that extractor fits again now? And it doesn't. Let's try the 15/16 extractor instead of the 1-inch. Maybe it'll grab sooner. And it didn't. So let's stay stillify. Let's just see what happens if I try and get at it with a grinder. The angle grinder got that collar off, so that was good. And I didn't hit my rim, so that's also good. Let's see if this is, the extractor will extract it now. Great success! Yay! That was easier than I thought. So if you have an extractor set, or if you want to buy a regular extractor set, it's cheaper than one of those special locking lug nut extractors. Then you can cut the collar off with an angle grinder, or a die grinder if you have one of those horizontal cutting wheels probably, or a Dremel or something. And you can get your locking lug nut off like this. There's the finished product. As you can see, it's the extractor bit into the edges and pulled it off. So now I just gotta do the other 3. So just for fun, let's do this one in real time. So there's my locking lug nut that I don't have the key for. I got an angle grinder. Way too expensive for this job framing hammer, but that's the one I had nearby. And my 1/2-inch impact and my 15/16 bolt extractor, my new non-locking lug nut, and my torque wrench for putting the new lug nut on. And I got a nail puller there because I might need that to get the sleeve, rotating sleeve off. We'll see.
I've ground through the sleeve, and maybe it'll move. There we go. It's still kind of stuck on there though. So if I knock it around a bit with the pointy end of this nail puller, you could probably use a chisel or a punch or something else. That would be just fine. So I got that little nub there that I can, on the edge where I ground out the end. Now let's get in underneath of it. And pry it off. There's my sleeve. There's my extractor. Smack that into place. Look at how easy that was. Isn't that great? My new lug nut. My torque wrench set to the appropriate torque for my truck. And there it is. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Look at me. I'm a mechanic. No, I'm not. I'm not a mechanic at all. But I figured out how to remove locking lug nuts without the key, and maybe you can now too. And my truck is now free of locking lug nuts that I don't have the key for, and free of locking lug nuts because I don't think anyone's likely to steal my wheels and tires here. And I was originally thinking I would try welding that rotating collar on, or welding something to the end of the locking lug nut, but why bother pulling out my welder and going through all that just to try a second method when the first method already worked so well. If you like this video or found it helpful and you're not trying to steal someone's wheels, then you should like and subscribe. Maybe I will post something else that you like.